We took off an assessment, so it's on Goldenrod. It's just one less assessment. You don't have a copy, but they do. It was basically like some Lutheran.
Not that I know of.
It never was in pending or anything, and the house sells.
They're not on.
He's new. What the hell? I didn't know, so I just the administrative thing.
The Tuesday, October 17th, 2023 meeting of the Eden Prairie City Council is now called to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I want to read an open podium invitation, which is something that the Eden Prairie City Council makes available to our residents. Open podium is an opportunity for Eden Prairie residents to address the City Council on issues related to Eden Prairie City government prior to each council meeting, which are typically held the first and third Tuesday of each month. These open podiums occur from 6:30 typically to 6:55 here in the council chamber. If you wish to speak at open podium, please do contact the city manager's office at 952-949-8412 by noon of the meeting date with your name, your phone number, and the subject matter you wish to discuss so we can be better prepared for you. Open podium is not recorded or televised. If you have questions about open podium, please do contact the city manager's office. Mr. Getchell, it looks like we have a couple donations this evening.
We do, Mayor. We have two donations that Mr. Lothammer will handle.
Your Honor, council members, this first donation is from the family of Gordon Williams, and many of you know Gordy from over the years. He recently passed away. He'd be the guy that, as you walked into the senior center for an event, usually volunteering to take attendance and put a good word to everybody as they entered. Especially when I entered, he would usually say, "There must be food. Jay's here."
Yeah.
And prior to me coming here, Scott Neal, a previous city manager, Gordy would get him going about getting a new bus for the senior center. And Scott named him the bus man. And even a couple months ago, when I saw Gordy, he was proud of being known as the bus man and securing another bus for the senior center. But Gordy was somebody that was well thought of, and we appreciated all of his volunteer experiences and contributions. And his family had an event at the senior center to remember Gordy by, and collected funds that will go towards the garden area at the senior center. And that's our second contribution within the last couple months towards that area of people that really see that as a nice place to come and visit, and a signature of the senior center. So we really appreciate and thank his family for that contribution.
Great. Council, unless you have something to add to that, is there someone that would make a motion?
Move to adopt the resolution accepting the $500 from the family of Gordon Williams towards the maintenance of the senior center garden area.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed. Mr. Lothammer, I believe this is the last time now, this one, I'm going to be asking you to share about a donation. For the rest of you out there, his life is not in danger. He's going to have 40 more years on this earth, but this is his last meeting prior to retirement, so we will miss you very much. You've had quite the amazing run.
Thank
so
you.
with that, go ahead and make your last speech about a donation.
All right, thank you. So this one is donations towards our Harvest to Halloween event that just happened this past weekend and is becoming quite the tradition at the Ridley Lake Park and Barn, especially featured during that event. But three separate donations all wrapped into one resolution. The first portion is from the Eden Prairie Crime Prevention Fund for $750. $500 from Cardinal Glass Industries, and $150 from Flagstone Senior Living. And so we appreciate their contributions and their fairly regular contributors towards our events.
And we had a great experience with the Harvest, Fall Harvest Festival, did I say that right? Event on Saturday. Okay, with that, council, is there a motion to accept this donation?
I'll move to adopt a resolution accepting the donation of $750 from the Eden Prairie Crime Prevention Fund, $500 from Cardinal Glass Industries, and $150 from Flagstone Senior Living for the Harvest to Halloween event.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. I suppose relative to the millions of dollars that the city raises and spends back on our residents, these donations of 150 up to 750 might seem relatively small. They're not, and they're deeply appreciated because every single donation we get makes our tax dollars stretch even further. So we always are appreciative of any group or individual that wants to give money in honor of someone or something to the city. Council, we now have approval of the agenda. Are there any items anyone wishes to add, enhance? If not, is there a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll move to approve the agenda.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Moving on to minutes, we have 2 minutes, the workshop from October 3rd and the city council meeting. Does anyone have any questions or edits of either of those minutes? If not, is there a motion to approve both of them?
Move to approve the following city council minutes. Council workshop held Tuesday, October 3rd, 2023, and the city council meeting held Tuesday, October 3rd, 2023.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right. Moving to the consent calendar. Again, these are important items, but nonetheless fairly routine housekeeping. Are there any items, however, any council member wants to learn more about, pull for further discussion? If not, is there a motion to approve items A through H on the consent calendar?
I'll move for approval of items A through H on the consent calendar.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right. We do have an important second reading this evening. Many times these second readings will be housekeeping perfunctory and we'll put them into the consent calendar. This one had a larger conversation discussion about going away between first and second reading and coming back. And so that's why we have it as a separate item this evening. So Mr. Getchell, I'll turn it over to you.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Exactly. Typically, the first reading and the initial public hearing and the initial council action on this project was in the meeting in September, second meeting in September by Pulte Homes, the Kinsley Townhome Project, 42 owner-occupied townhomes on the corner of Dell and Pioneer Trail, southeast corner. So there was quite a bit of discussion and quite a bit of work put into the project, and also quite a bit of feedback and conditions by the city council between first and second reading. So our community development director, Julie Klima, is going to walk you through changes between first and second reading and everything leading to the final approval that we're asking from you tonight. And representatives of Pulte are here to answer any questions you may have, but I believe Julie is providing the bulk of the information.
Great. Thank you.
Mayor, members of the council, I do have a PowerPoint presentation that I'd like to share with you this evening to highlight some of those changes. As Mr. Getchell mentioned, the council approved first reading of this project at its September meeting. Can I have the PowerPoint, please? Thank you. At the September council meeting, as I said, council did approve first reading, but they did request that several changes be provided to the plan. Specifically, that Valley Road not be connected to the single-family neighborhood, but retain the right-of-way and provide a sidewalk connection within that area. Providing additional screening along the south and eastern property lines, exploring options to add additional off-street parking for visitors, as well as providing a screening fence of an alternative material. The initial proposal included a vinyl fence along the south property line to the adjacent townhome units. So on the screen that you are looking at the bottom is the original plan that was reviewed in September. As you can see, Valley Road connects all the way to the east property line. In the revised proposal on the top of your screen, as you can see, the private street comes in and extends north into the townhome development. The right-of-way along the south property line is retained in the event that the city wishes to make that street connection in the future. It also includes a sidewalk to that single-family residential neighborhood. As you can see, the sidewalk meanders a bit in order to avoid some significant sized trees within that area, because there will be disturbance within that right-of-way, even though the road's not being constructed, in order to build the sidewalk as well as provide utility connections. One other change that was proposed with the plan is the trail connection out to Pioneer Trail. Last month, when the council reviewed this, there was a trail connection along the east boundary up to that trail at Pioneer. The developer has relocated that trail up in the west corner, up in order to save an additional tree on that east property line and to remove that pedestrian traffic away from the single-family neighborhood. I will talk about the landscaping changes as well in future slides, but this slide gives a great visual representation of the existing landscaping that is provided on the single-family homes to the east, as well as the townhomes to the south. So if you want to just take a quick peek at that, we will talk about that in a few slides in future. In addition, the fence that was discussed at the last council meeting, this is a proposal that illustrates what that fence could look like, the type of material that is proposed with the revision. It is not intended to illustrate what it will look like on the site. The developer is now proposing a 7-foot composite fence. As I mentioned earlier, the original proposal was vinyl. Composite is much more durable, and of all the different composite materials that are out there in the market, our building official has weighed in saying this particular brand is one of the best. So this fence would be along the south property line and would actually be sandwiched between the existing trees that are on the townhome property to the south and the landscaping that's going to be provided with Pulte's project. So whether or not this fence would even be visible from the new roadway to be constructed remains to be seen. The landscaping revisions that exist with the proposed plan, so we'll start off along the east property line adjacent to the single-family neighborhood. So on the right hand, you can see the existing proposal council saw last month. On the left-hand side, we have several color, and I'll walk you through the color coding. So the solid green indicates new landscaping units that have been provided between first and second reading. The open circles indicate existing trees that are on the site. So staff has identified those in order to illustrate to the council where there will be a collaboration essentially between existing and proposed trees. And then the wavy line that you see extending into the single-family home area indicates the existing tree line that exists on those single-family properties. The same key, if you will, applies on the south property line. So the bottom picture indicates the original proposal with the roadway being constructed through the site. The top picture indicates the additional arborvitae that would be provided south of the street that would provide screening. On the townhome property, you can see circled in green all of the existing and tree line that exists there. So 26 arborvitae and 3 white pines are proposed along the south property line, 15 additional conifers provided along the east property line, and with those changes, they were able to reduce the significant tree removal by 109 caliper inches while adding an additional 150 caliper inches. And then demonstrating that existing tree line that exists in the single-family and townhome neighborhoods. These are some photos that illustrate what the existing conditions look like along that eastern property line. So we've got several photos that show at the end of Valley Road from Preston. You can see in the upper left-hand corner, this is where that extension would have gone through. You can see the existing conditions, as well as from that same vantage point then looking north, so you can see additional trees along the properties to the north of that intersection. And then if you were to stand essentially towards the end of the cul-de-sac on Preston Place and look toward the project site, this is the existing tree cover in this bottom picture that you'd be looking through to see the existing or the proposed development site. Moving to the south property line where the existing townhomes are, taking a look from the townhome property north to where the road connection will occur, this is the existing tree line that exists there. These two pictures indicate if you were standing on the corner, the very southwest corner of the property, looking south and southwest to the townhome property, these are the existing landscaping and tree cover that you will see between the subject property and the townhomes that are in place. So in a nutshell, those are the revisions that are proposed by the developer. I'm happy to answer any questions that council may have.
Council, any questions, any comments?
Well, I just have one quick. So the trees that they're going to put in are going to be 7 feet tall, correct?
Mayor, members of the council, yes, that is correct.
Okay.
Council, other comments? I know that several of us received emails from interested community members who about the southern line, I think, of the property. And some of the concern, if I remember from the 3 emails I received, was the sense, the perception that without building that easterly portion of Valley, that it would generate a windfall. That word was used several times. And therefore, we should, as a council, utilize that windfall for other things. So I wanted to at least address that, and maybe at a very high level to say that in general, and again, I've 27 years now in the city council of approving projects. It's not within our purview and prerogative to make a developer money or to prevent a developer from making money. It's just not, that's not what we're about. We're about managing development, and a developer will bring a project in. We'll look at it based on our zoning code, our policies, our procedures. That being said, and I don't know numbers, I'm not either a developer or an economist, but having done this 27 years, we get a little bit of a feel. I will say that very, very likely profit margins for developers are much tighter than what I think a lot of people think. I think Pulte is this national company, and therefore they generate a lot of money aggregately together. But on any individual project, margins are incredibly tighter than likely what we think. And if you think about the road that we no longer having them build, the half of it, that was an addition anyway that the city, originally Pulte did not want that road in their proposal, and the city requested that, they put it in. That happens a lot with projects where either city staff or planning or council will ask for additions. We don't think about necessarily the money. We say we want more trees there, we want park benches, we want, something that maybe has a dollar amount to it, but we don't think like that. We just really look at what's the best project. Likewise, when things get a little moved or removed or put aside or whatever, we don't think about, oh, that's a savings of this amount. That being said, I did ask staff to estimate, how much are we talking about in terms of a value amount if that part of the road's not built, and staff estimated it's in the $80,000 range. The additional additions of what we're asking came out to about $40,000. So if you look at 42 homes. We're talking about $1,000 per home process in an environment that, again, profit margins are tight. The variables of the market, of construction costs, moving, there's just so many variables out there. We're not talking about a lot of money one way or the other. That's not where our concern is, to try to make a developer money or to try to prevent. So I'm really comfortable with the fact that our concern is to get the best project that we possibly can, and not fixate on dollars. So that being said, I do feel that based on what we directed and the concerns that we had, that this really addressed them. We're saving a whole lot of trees that I wanted to have saved, even extras. I didn't realize when we curved the sidewalk, we'd be saving a couple extra. The fence, we've often been asked in the past to add in a fence sometimes, and a developer will, not cringe, but be a little bit concerned because, again, profit margins are tighter. But this developer came with a fence. We simply said upgrade it. They agreed. I think that's a composite fence is an upgraded, nice fence. Many of us, like me, have green treated, privacy fences in my backyard. I'm very happy with it, but I would love a composite fence in my backyard. I'm just saying, So I do feel that the concerns we had and have are addressed in this revision. So all of you, any more questions? Do you want to ask or comments? If not, I would entertain a motion.
Move to approve the second reading of an ordinance for a PUD district review with waivers and a zoning change from rural to RM 6.5 on 6.13 acres, and adopt a resolution for site plan review on 6.13 acres, and adopt a resolution conditionally approving the development agreement for Kingsley Townhomes.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any more discussion, conversation, questions from the council? If not, then all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
No.
Passes. I didn't actually vote. Yes, aye. Passes 3-1. All right. Great. Thank you so much. So moving on. Good presentation, Julie. Thank you for that. Okay, Mr. Getchell, we have one public hearing this evening.
Mayor, we have
two. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
we have two, but
as I said that,
it's okay. We have two tonight, one related to a land use application. The first one is Mr. Car Wash. So Mr. Car Wash, of which we already have in Eden Prairie, is proposing to move a couple doors down to relocate a new car wash facility replacing the Burger King restaurant that was removed in 2022 on the intersection of Flying Cloud Drive and Prairie Center Drive. I have to say that because we have two Burger Kings that are closed and may become car washes one day. So this property, as I mentioned, is calling for a 5,400 square foot car wash with building, canopies, and other accessory equipment. There is a waiver for a 35-foot front yard setback that staff is supportive of. 25 feet is proposed. And we support the waiver because the site is on 3 different public streets, and it allows the building to allow for screening for vehicle stacking and some of the vacuum areas of the site in Flying Cloud Drive. The applicant is here to provide a presentation for the City Council on their plan for relocating Mr. Car Wash, and then staff and the applicant can answer any questions that you may have. And again, we do have public hearing planned, and then action on the first reading of this project.
Okay, presentation, please come forward, give your name, address, association to this project.
Hi, my name is Praz Matharu. I'm the project manager of design on this project, and I'm coming in from Tucson, Arizona, our Mr. Car Wash headquarters.
Great.
So, like City Manager Getchow, did I pronounce that correctly? Good job. Awesome, thank you.
Actually, you're one of the first people that's actually got it right.
There you go, great start. So, to reiterate, we do have an existing location in Eden Prairie, one that we're proud to serve this community since 1999. So now we're just moving a few doors down to give everybody a brand new ground up construction, brand new site to address the two major issues that we're having with the current site right now. Based on our customer growth, which a few months ago we actually hit 2 million members, so we're actually very excited about that. Hopefully next year we'll get to 3 million. If you are not members, I urge you that we give the best car washes in the universe. That's a fact. So one of the things that we are proud of doing about this project as well is we're the only nationally and publicly traded car wash company in the nation. That means a lot that the New York Stock Exchange trusts us that what we're doing, we have a lot of investors pouring a lot of money into our development so we can serve our communities better. Part of our change from our typical tenant improvement project where we take an existing building, retrofit it to a car wash, is that we have our new build program that we've started very recently. And that's really great for us because now we have the ability to take a blank site, design it exactly how we need to allow for the capacity of our ever-growing customer base, which we understand that that is an issue with the current site as it stands right now. There's an issue with handling the capacity where cars are being backed up based on the small site size. And also, the technology that we had back in the day for water reclamation has completely changed. So with the older systems, we had a two-stage clarification system where water would kind of run through after the wash, go through two separate clarification tanks, and based on our technology, we could only recycle up to 10%. However, with the new technology that we have 3 separate gravity-fed clarification tanks, each of them holding 2,500 gallons that we process through. And now we have the ability to go from 10% at most to at least 50% water reuse and water reclamation. Because we understand that as a car wash, of course, water is our main ingredient that we use to give the service that we do. But in these times of environmental concern, using that much water and not being able to recycle any of it is a huge concern for us. There are other companies, car washes and not car washes, who focus primarily on profit. Mr. Car Wash is not one of them. Our focus is providing the best service to our communities and being environmentally friendly also, which to add to that, all of our chemicals are dye-free and biodegradable. So these things over time, if they ever are discharged, will eventually die away. So that way we're also preventing any kind of long-term pollution that happens to any of the discharge, and we're very proud of that. And our R&D team, just like from 1999 to now, we got from 10 to 50. They're working tirelessly every single day to improve the quality of our reclamation, that maybe next year we'll get to 60, the year after that 70, and hopefully one day we can say that we recycle 100% of our water. That is the main goal. I can't say it's going to happen in 5 years. I'm not part of the R&D team, but I know that we're working tirelessly to get to that point. So to reiterate, our site is located at the former Burger King at the intersection of Flying Cloud Drive and Prairie Center Drive, just a few doors down from our existing location. We are very excited about this site because, one, it addresses the issue of the tight circulation, so we're also creating a better experience for all of our customers. We're creating a much safer environment for all our customers to not have any issues with car buildup into any of the major roads. So we're addressing all of those. So we are here tonight, as stated, to address a few of the PUD waivers. In addition to that as well, we have worked with staff quite a bit on making a few changes in the site that they determined would be best for our site. One of those includes moving the trash enclosure down closer to the building so the first entry for the project and our customers isn't just a CMU brick-faced enclosure for our dumpster. What they will see are cars stacked up, waiting to move into the tunnel. They're seeing customers out of their cars, vacuuming, giving the whole experience of the full services that we offer. And as they pull up to the point of sale, that we initially started as a much larger canopy structure, but after working with staff, we decided to shrink it down to 3 smaller, more manageable structures that aren't essentially going to be a visual obtrusion to everybody driving past Flying Cloud Drive. And in addition, we're also going to be taking the 2 corners and making those ADA compliant by redoing those ramps and making the city side compliant. So in terms of building materials, we are modifying our prototype in order to keep with the same facade and same aesthetic that you have currently at Flying Cloud Drive. So we're adding the addition of brick to all of our facades to make it seem like a cohesive design along the entirety of Flying Cloud Drive. In addition to that, we are, like I stated, we are going down to 3 smaller canopies that also act as a signage mechanism to allow for our customers to know exactly where to go, whether they're Unlimited Wash Club members or retail members, that we have a service attendant who greets everybody who comes through with a wave and a smile to start that experience of the positivity that we like to embody here at Mister. Right next to that, you see a service attendant hut that is a fully enclosed, roofed, fully conditioned, so heated and cooled space to allow for that attendant who is working to address any of the issues our customers have, any issues that we may or may not have with the technology, because let's face it, technology doesn't want to work whenever we want it to work. In addition, we also are protecting them from the harsh Minnesota weather. We understand that there's a lot of snow here. I don't have a lot of experience with snow. I come from Arizona. We have 120 plus degree weather. But I've heard from my team that sometimes the snow gets a little too cold to be in. In addition, with rain as well, we don't want our our employees to get wet. We want to make sure that we are taking care of all of our employees, which is why we have that service attendant hut there. And to end it all, we do have a few renderings here that would give an idea of what the experience would be like once this project is approved and it's built. This is a view from the entry, so you can see the cars stacked there, everybody in the vacuum aisle taking care of the interior of the car. Customers will see very dirty cars coming through the entrance and cars that coming out that look better than brand new. And I would really like to say that maybe they don't look brand new, but they look like they just came right out of Eden Prairie. Let's change that phrase so that way nationally, all of our customers make the pilgrimage to Eden Prairie just to get the best wash. And this would be a view, evening time, nighttime, off of Flying Cloud Drive.
We don't have clouds like that in Eden Prairie.
Oh. Sorry about that.
Yeah, Arizona clouds, I think,
Yeah. Sorry, I'm bringing the Arizona weather here for me, give you guys a little warmer weather. But again, we had a very good discussion with Planning Commission last week. And as a quick turnaround, we're excited to be here again presenting this project to City Council tonight. Like I mentioned, we've been in Eden Prairie since 1999, and we have served this community proudly, and we want to continue to be members of this city's development, which is why we're not only going to give you another larger wash, we're going to give you a wash that's going to provide better service to all of our customers, be able to handle the inflow of customers that we're expecting to come in. Like I mentioned, 2 million subscribers this year, hopefully 3 million next. And we want to make sure that we're providing and continuing to provide the best service that we can to the citizens of Eden Prairie. Thank you.
Great, thank you. So, Council, if you have questions of the proponent at the moment, let's do that. Otherwise, again, like normal, we can have a public hearing and have further questions. So is there a question you have right now that you'd like from the proponent?
I do. I was just wondering, the existing site that you're at, the underground tanks that are there, what's going to happen with those? Who's responsible, and what will happen?
So once we move operations from that store to the new location, we're going to shut down operations, and then either those tanks will then be removed or they'll be filled with concrete. We will do whatever the ordinances require us to do in order to mitigate those issues for any kind of future development.
Thank you.
Council, any further questions right now? Again, we can always.
Yeah,
Councilmember
I've
Nelson,
got a
go ahead.
quick one. You're talking about new technology, that you're expecting. Will that be able to be added back into the Eden Prairie one? You said you could reduce 50% of your water, but if it gets to be 60 or 70, will that be applicable somehow to this building?
Yeah, so the way everything works is that everything is underground, but then also in terms of the kind of dyes and everything we use and the chemicals as well, that also, as those things improve in quality, that also then has an effect on the amount of water that we can also reclaim and reuse. But then it also depends on how dirty the car is. If they just got a wash earlier that day and they've been driving around town and it's been a beautiful sunny day and they decide to go get a car wash again, there's not a lot of sediment that comes off that car, so that 50% already will be more. But if they, in Arizona we do a lot of off-roading. I'm not sure how much of that is here in Minnesota, but I know during the snow season, there's a lot of salt that gets on the cars as well. So that will also have an effect on how much of that can get reused. So one of the other big proponents that we can control on a daily basis is how soiled a vehicle is. The cleaner the car, the more we can recycle. The dirtier the car, the less we can recycle. The 50% is more of an average, but aside from the other location where it was 10% at most, that wasn't a 10% average. But now the fact that we can do on average 50%, that's already a huge step in the improvement for us.
Thank you.
Okay, maybe have a seat, and if we have questions, we'll call you back up. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So this is a public hearing. Is there anyone in the audience wishing to address the council on this particular Mr. Car Wash proposal this evening? Okay, council, since there weren't a whole lot of questions, if you're comfortable, go ahead and close the public hearing and make the motion for the entire project, if that's okay. Is that fine? Okay, would somebody make that motion?
I'll move to close the public hearing and adopt a resolution for a PUD concept plan review on 1.23 acres and approve the first reading of an ordinance for a PUD district review with waivers on 1.23 acres and direct staff to prepare a development agreement incorporating staff and commission recommendations and council conditions.
Is there a second?
Second.
So, further discussion, any questions of proponent or staff? Any comments? Are we ready to vote? I'll make a comment after that, if that's okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, oppose? So welcome again to the new transition place. We're super happy to have you. I just want to make a comment. We're personally, well, I'll just speak for myself, personally excited and pleased that Mr. Car Wash will be at this site. I think I make a comment regardless of you all for a moment. So we have 2 Burger King sites in town, and people have been inquiring for a couple years what's happening and what's going in there. And sometimes when people hear back, I'm sure they love Mr. Car Wash, but sometimes they'll say, because the other potential proposal is also for a car wash at the other Burger King site. So sometimes people will say 2 car washes, and right away all their ideas come out, right? Why not another fast food place, et cetera? So I just kind of wanted to make a comment, a couple. One is that Burger King had some limitations on what could eventually possibly be purchased there, and they limited. Is that a legally fair statement to make? That
Correct, Mayor. I think
Okay.
at least these 2 locations.
Okay.
It might not apply throughout the
Maybe
country.
not.
These 2 locations,
Okay.
they were not going to be selling to other entities that would sell food.
Okay. And I understand that may not be uncommon across the United States for when McDonald's closes down, they can put some kind of a deed restriction or something. That's one thing. Secondly is that, again, for 27 years on the council, I've experienced this where people will say, well, back in the 90s, why are we not going out and getting breakfast places? That was the big deal back in the 90s. We got some really decent ones, and we're very happy with. And today it's always, why are you not getting something, whatever, right? And that's just not within the purview of the city council or city government. It's not what we do. We manage development. There's landowners, they sell privately to other landowners who come in with development projects. We look at what comes in based on our code and our policies and procedures, and we approve or deny based on those set of criteria, not whether we like it. We do like Mr. Car Wash. Whether we like it, whether we wanted something else in, that just doesn't get into the conversation. I know it's hard for sometimes people to understand. It's interesting how sometimes some people want weaker government and sometimes people want stronger government. Sometimes it comes out of the same conversation, the same person. But in this case, local municipal government across the U.S. doesn't have some of the powers that sometimes people expect that we do. That being said, again, super happy to have Mr. Car Wash here. Glad that you're staying, moving right down the strip there. Look forward to whatever then will go in, I guess, at your old site as well. So thank you. Anything else, council? Yes, Councilmember Freiberg.
I just have a question, a real lighthearted one here. I've lived in Eden Prairie now for 42 years, and I've known the name Mr. Car Wash for quite a while. How many years you been part of the landscape in Eden Prairie now?
In Indian Prairie itself?
Yeah,
I
it's
think,
been a long time.
yeah, 1999, I believe, is when we opened.
24, yeah.
Yeah.
Is it 24? That's wonderful.
Yeah, great, yeah.
I would never have figured that you would able to fit that into that spot there. It's a good job.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Our team works tirelessly to make sure that we understand flow very well because, again, our customers aren't just people, it's people in vehicles. So vehicle, of course, takes a lot more space than one person. So to make sure that we adequately size the site, we will always conform to building setbacks. I know tonight we are asking for a waiver because if we had pushed the building exactly where the setback is, we would run into the same issue that we were having in our existing site right now. It would just
Right.
be a complete
Put the cars out
mess.
onto the road, which, yeah.
And we don't want to do that. We don't want any kind of backups and causing safety concerns. So our CAD team works tirelessly with our operations team to make sure we understand exactly how a car would move through the entire site. And we have also a system where we want to make sure that the time going from the point of sale into the tunnel and out of the tunnel, at most, is going to be 5 minutes. It's never more than that. It can definitely be less. But we move cars in and out at a rapid pace so that there's no buildup whatsoever until we run to capacity like we are on the current site right now. But now we're giving you a big, nicer, shinier building.
Great. Well, thank you. Thank you so much. And again, we look forward to utilizing the new car wash as well.
Thank you.
All right. Mr. Getchell, we do have a second public hearing, a pretty important one, even though it's routine in a sense, and yet very important because it's special assessments.
Yeah, we do, Mayor. Yes, we do, Mayor. This is something that we do every year at this time. We have assessments that build up over the course of the year. And then those assessments need to be certified, sent to Hennepin County, and then placed on the tax roll. Normally, we'll have a mix of assessments, so we might have different street and utility projects throughout the year. So you will see different assessments related to that. We only have one of those for this assessment role related to Pioneer Trail, the old Pioneer Trail improvements. And then I would say we probably have less than last year in the last couple years when it comes to tall grass and tree removal. So there might be instances where the city needs to abate a nuisance and go onto a property after proper notice and possibly remove tall grass and weeds from property or remove diseased or dead trees. And so we do assess these, and we do have an interest rate associated with that, and most of the terms are 1 year, and you can see that within the packet. So these are various assessments that you need to hold a public hearing, and then we certify these assessments to the county. I believe it needs to be by the end of November. I do have one change, and that's why you have a goldenrod sheet. We did remove one assessment. There's one assessment that should not have been in the packet or will not be assessed. That was one of the tall grass and weed removals for $234, so that's taken off. Other than that, everything that was in the packet that went out over the weekend is the same, with the exception of the one that we removed. So when you hold your public hearing and adopt your resolution, it will not include that one tall grass and weed assessment.
And just for clarification, and granted, not everyone may agree all the time with these assessments. However, everyone knows about them. They've been notified. Yes, okay, thank
They
you.
have. They're given a chance to actually pay before it's assessed, and then they're notified of this meeting, and then they're notified of what the payment would be and what the assessment would be ahead of time on at least, possibly two occasions.
Great.
Yeah.
All right. Council, you okay if I go ahead and hold the public hearing? If you have questions beyond that, you can ask. Okay, this is a public hearing. Is there anyone in the audience wishing to address the council on approval of 2023 special assessments? Seeing none, council, if someone would wish to close the public hearing and go ahead and move the adoption of the resolution.
I'll move to close the public hearing and adopt the resolution approving all special assessments presented in the fall of 2023.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any further discussion? If I could just ask a question, Mr. Getchell, is the fact that no one came and no one is speaking for this, is that significant in that people have generally evidently agreed to these? You would have picked up, I guess, if somebody was.
Correct. Correct, Mayor. I think we've heard from most of these people, many of them. And yeah, the public hearing's an opportunity if someone has a concern. And it's probably been maybe 5 or 6 years since someone's come before the
Yes.
city council. It's been a while. But typically, I would take that as a sign that they have been agreed to and they're understood.
Sounds good. So, without further discussion, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right. Moving on to payment of claims. These are all the expenditures. Anybody have any questions on any of the list of expenditures between now and the last meeting? If not, is there a motion to approve?
A move for approval of payment of claims as submitted.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Freiberg,
Aye.
Councilmember Nelson,
Aye.
Councilmember Toomey,
Aye.
Mayor Case.
Aye. All right. I believe there is nothing. You're looking at me funny. There's
No.
nothing else to come before the
No,
council.
there's not. No, I just had one quick item before we're done, but.
Oh, sure. No,
Yeah.
please, go ahead.
Yeah. So you alluded to this, Mayor, earlier. You mentioned that that was Mr. Lothammer's last donation. He's done hundreds.
Not his personal, but
Not
his,
his personal,
his-
well-
speaking of, about donations.
Well, maybe now that he's retired, we'll start getting some of those donations too. But yeah, I just wanted to mention and thank him for all that he's done for the city. I know the council feels the same way as well. He's been with us for over 16 years, and believe it or not, when you look at him, it's over 35 years of total local government service, mainly in 2 communities, but he served us so well. I've been able to work with him for the past almost 12 and a half years of those 16 years as our Park and Recreation Director. And I think the council and community knows that we've only had a few Park and Recreation Directors in the entire life of the city, and Jay is one of those exceptional ones that we've had. And if you think about many of his presentations in these chambers over all regarding all of the projects that he's led or been a part of or brought to the city council, there probably isn't a single major park or major amenity or major area that hasn't been touched in his time. If you just think about not one, but probably 2 big improvements to our community center, all the work that's been done at Round Lake and Starring and Riley and all of the other parks, and the introduction of pickleball and recently cricket, and kind of the work done with the athletic associations and all the fields. So there's just so much, probably too many presentations that lasted too long at some of the council meetings, but very thorough. And we appreciated his attention to detail and his passion for all that work. But also it's the people that Jay's hired and mentored and led and worked with in Park and Recreation and across departments. It's just been so well received. So thank you, Jay, for your service, and we are going to miss you and much appreciate everything you've done for the city. Thank you.
Mayor, Council, if I could.
No, that's fine. We're running late. No, please, absolutely.
I want to say thank you to the council members as well. Most of you, I've had quite a few years to work with and get good information and good guidance from, and I really appreciate that. That's so important in how city government functions really well, is to have and start with a good functioning city council of people that really have a good respect for the community and respect for the professional staff too, which all of you have shown to so many of our staff members throughout the years. So I do appreciate that. I've really had a great fortune. If I could have scripted my career, I would have underscripted it. The opportunities and experiences that I have had I couldn't have imagined being able to have those from when I got started, or even when I started here in Eden Prairie, to be able to live here for those 16 years and work here for the 16 years has been a great positive experience in my life. I know you know this, but we have department heads and also a city manager that are second to none. And not just in their professionalism, but also as really good and caring people. And I've enjoyed being able to get to know them and consider them good friends, not just coworkers. And so that's something that I will take with me and hold for a long time. And today was our biannual all-department staff meeting, and I was able to say a few words to them, but looking around that room and thinking about the people that we have in this city, but certainly in the Parks and Recreation Department, and how committed they are to serving our community and how important they realize their job is, it's really a rewarding feeling to know that all of this will carry forward. I've had a chance in the last couple days to spend some time with Amy Markle, the new Parks and Recreation Director, and I know Amy from her time in Richfield, and as somebody that's a really well-respected professional in our field, and she is going to carry things into the future really, really well. I'm really excited to, whether it's 3 years or 5 years or 10 years, to see all of the things that have been accomplished with her support and her leadership. It's really going to be a great transition, and I'm really glad that she's been hired to keep carrying things on. But I also know that there's so many people within our department that are so capable that the quality will continue. And I just want to again say thank you, and I appreciate all the work that you do as council members and the mayor to make this a great city. And many people don't know all of the things that you do behind the scenes or the other boards that you serve on, and what deep passion and care you have for the community. And it really shows, and I think it really is felt by our city staff, and that's really important. And so thank you for everything that you've done to help support me and guide me, and I look forward to seeing many more great things come through this city.
You know, all of us, after a certain period of time, a tenure on the city council or a job that we retire from, we have a path behind us that left a legacy. Few people, though, I think, have the opportunity to look back like you do, Jay, and see the physical evidence, the parks, the recreational programming today, the natural resources preserved that you have had. Granted, there have been other people too, but you have had a direct, incredibly positive impact on. And I mean, you're going off, not quickly into the sunset, I hope, but you're going off into the sunset of sorts with that full knowledge of the amazing difference that you've made in this community. So on behalf of us, and any of the city council can add to this, but on behalf of the city council and city councils past and mayors that you've served before me, and on behalf of the people of Eden Prairie, just thank you so much for all that you've given, and really above and beyond. It's not just hadn't felt like just a job the way we see it. Hasn't been just a job to you. It's been really a life commitment. So thank you.
I feel like we should clap again.
All right. All right. So anything else to come before the council this evening? If not, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn the city council meeting.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This meeting is adjourned.